Here are my top 4 reasons to pick Fruit Punch.
I believe I can fly.
You can't escape me! Nani?
Bye, Felicia! Let's take a look at how I could have handled this instead. Hello everyone, Scoops here, and welcome to another one of my ranked reviews. As we continue our journey to Masters, we'll encounter all kinds of different game modes. So, to help us on our way, we'll be analyzing some Castle Crashers gameplay. When grinding through ranked in this game mode, I never pass up the chance to lock in Fruit Punch Cookie. Now, let's get into some games. For this match, a combined frontline with Ice Pop alongside Blueberry Pie as our damage gives us a solid team comp to work with. While looking over the enemy team's draft, I'm quick to recognize the lack of a real tank and plan to get in the face of the squishier cookies early. Leveraging our team's higher health pool will be our key to victory. One of the most important elements of Castle Crashers is its respawn points. As the turtle crosses certain thresholds, where players spawn will change. And the first swap occurs early on, so it's crucial to try to win this early fight and push the enemy back. I'm quick to follow up on the solid damage Ice Pop and Blueberry put out as I chase Licorice down. We see our higher health working to our advantage as we simply outlast our way into a triple kill, doing just enough to flip the spawns before dying to Espresso's leftover puddle. As I wait to respawn, I take stock of the fact that all 6 cookies will have their ultimates up, but by the time I arrive on the scene, the enemy has already spent 2 of theirs, leaving me in a 3-on-1 situation. But here is exactly where Fruit Punch's ultimate and tankiness comes into play. I'm able to both trade back a kill and comfortably stall out the turtle until help arrives. Taking a moment to wait for the quicker regen passive to activate before rushing back in is an important part of getting the max value out of our high health, and it allows me to sneak up on the enemy Blueberry here to help put her away. Once again, we briefly pull back to regain our health and use the bushes to reposition ourselves. Though Espresso dodges our ult,
You can't escape me!
we're able to put him away. From here, I see that Ice Pop has his ultimate up, so I feel pretty comfortable putting pressure onto Blueberry Pie. Unfortunately, he's not able to get it out in time, and my special skill isn't back yet to threaten an interrupt, so Blueberry Pie and Licorice are able to do some real damage here. Luckily, it's not like Ice Pop's ultimate got cancelled, so we will have it to retake the turtle. Our lead earlier gives us a close spawn that lets us get back into the fight. My dash out of Espresso's ultimate puts me right on top of Licorice, who I chase too hard with Blueberry Pie on the way. Though I'm able to convert the kill at the cost of my ultimate, I end up paying the price for it. Let's go back and take a look at how I could have handled this instead. Let's assess the situation we were in. We're chasing off a low health Licorice, but a healthy Blueberry Pie is on the way. Meanwhile, below us, Ice Pop is locked into a fight with Espresso. With our own Blueberry Pie respawning, this is quickly about to become a 3-on-2 situation. But there are some factors that are working in our favor. First, Licorice and Espresso aren't looking so great. And second, Ice Pop and I have our ultimates up. So, instead of continuing the chase here and putting myself in a 2-on-1 situation, I instead could have ulted this way and created a 2-on-1 of our own. This likely would have saved the Ice Pop and given us access to a wall that we could use to protect ourselves from Blueberry Pie.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Alright, where were we? Up 8% while the turtle returns to the middle. We struggle for a bit here, because without Ice Pop's ultimate, it's looking like an unfair fight. While Blueberry Pie does the best to leverage her own, it's looking like just too much damage to deal with.
Nani?
Welp, that's a kind of death we'll try to avoid in the future. Back to the game state. Ice Pop is able to help us wrestle back control of the turtle, and I use my ult for some added tankiness as I wait for Blueberry Pie to step back into the action. Once she's here, I dive onto Espresso, though failing to step out of his puddles makes it a waste. Luckily, Blueberry Pie picks up my slack by hitting a big 3-person ultimate. So, I'm able to respawn back in a great position and put the finishing touches on Espresso.
Get back here, I want to give you a kiss.
Now here's a fight where the team's differences in maximum health make all the difference. Ice Pop and I are basically able to tank through this 3v3, while Blueberry Pie picks up a good chunk of the kills, putting us in a great position.
Uh-oh. Stinky!
I'm able to take a little bit of time off to heal here because I see that not only are both my teammates rather healthy, but they also have their ultimates on deck too, which means they'll be able to hold the turtle for long enough for me to rejoin the fight at full health. I tried to make the leap over the wall to finish off Licorice, but come off short, only for Licorice to give me back the kill I was looking for anyway. Having won the fight, we can take some time to let our health regen. A quick dive onto Espresso puts him down and isolates the blueberry pie. Now we're at a 2v1 with my ultimate up, a strong spot for us. Seeing that a fresh ice pop is on the scene with his ult up, I take a few seconds to try to get my health back. But here, I let the overtime distract me, and as I try to go for a juicy flank, I failed to notice that Ice Pop is already down, and I basically walk myself into a 3-on-1 for no reason. Luckily, a clutch ult from Blueberry Pie is able to pick up a quick double kill, and from there we could simply walk into victory. I think now would be a good time to go over why I think Fruit Punch is a great pick for those of us who are trying to improve at the game. So, here are my top 4 reasons to pick Fruit Punch. First, he's tanky. We're all going to make mistakes as we learn. But the more health we have, the more room we have to experiment and get a feel for the flow of the game. Second, he's simple. Fruit Punch has a straightforward kit, unlike a Black Pudding or Cream Soda, who have additional mechanics or unique basic attack strings for us to keep track of. Which brings me to my third point, awareness. The simplicity of his kit helps us practice placing our attention elsewhere. Who's respawning? Whose ultimates are up? Is my positioning any good? Which ties in nicely to my final reason, interrupts. Fruit Punch Cookie has 2 knockbacks. One on his special ability, and one on the start of his ultimate. As our awareness improves, we can use these more effectively to cancel enemy ultimates and knock cookies off the objective at key moments. All of this allows us to build up key fundamentals, which we could eventually take with us as we move on to play other cookies. If you've been enjoying these ranked reviews and would like to see more, please consider taking the time to subscribe and turn on notifications. Okay, let's get to our next match. In Season 2 of Ranked, Gold 1 is the first instance you will encounter the game's ban and pick system. So here's your perfect chance to get some of your least favorite matchups out of the way. But at the same time, your own pool of cookies will be tested too. I decide to ban Licorice here because his special ability and ultimate can both be real headaches for objective-based game modes. Since Fruit Punch was left open, I snap him up, and we end up with the same draft comp as our previous review. But as you can see, the opponents we're dealing with are an entirely different story. Black Pudding is placed at the top of most people's tier list, and he's being backed by the very capable duo of Cherry Cookie and Blue Slushy. Luckily for us, I think Fruit Punch stands up to Black Pudding fairly well, so I plan to do my best to give him a hard time, with my tanky health and persistent aggression. We get to see why Black Pudding is held in such high regard early. Though I get him close, a few well-timed dashes give him the win. Though I did well to keep him off of squishier cookies like Blueberry Pie, the remaining 2v2 didn't unfold in our team's favor, so we're pushed back to a further spawn. Suddenly, Black Pudding jumps out of a bush, and it's time to make a decision. Our team has all of our ultimates on deck, but with Blueberry Pie already at half health, I likely won't be able to take out Black Pudding in time to save her. So instead, I make a dash for it.
I believe I can fly.
We can't get the kill, but burning Blue Slushy's special ability effectively puts her out of the fight, allowing us to gang up on Black Pudding for a brutal 3-on-1 beatdown. Blue Slushy's decision to step up here instead of hanging back and healing causes her to be sent flying again, but this time, thanks to the tip of my ultimate. Cherry Cookie tries to contest the cards here, but the numbers just aren't in her favor. She trades her full health bar for what's left of blueberries, and forces Black Pudding to return to another 2-on-1 situation. Though, here was my chance to hang back. Instead of giving Black Pudding a full 2-on-1 to deal with, by giving myself enough time to let my health start to regen. Instead, I hang around for too long and pay for it. And now it's Ice Pop that has to deal with the 2-on-1. We've lost control of the turtle, and now have to figure out a way to get back into it. I decide to be a bully and start gunning for Cherry Cookie. And with my ult, I'm able to catch her. Ice Pop does similar. And with their 2 swishy damage dealers out of the way, we're eventually able to make quick work of Black Pudding.
Why can't you just die already?
I hug the wall here to prevent Blue Slushy from canceling my regen. And after turning the corner, I'm able to help Blueberry Pie clean things up. Though, a misplaced ultimate here prevents me from protecting Blueberry Pie, and I let this shiny card spawn distract me from a possible escape. This is why we should always be trying to improve our awareness. Our team at least has their ultimates to leverage, and they get good use out of them here. It costs both Ice Pops and Blueberry Pies, but we're able to regain control of the turtle. Now here's an example of just how important winning those early fights really is. Look how the entire enemy team is able to respawn right in front of the objective. Meanwhile, Ice Pop has to continue his long walk from spawn, which puts Blueberry Pie and I in a 2-on-3 situation. Luckily, Blue Slushy takes herself out of the fight with her special ability.
Bye, Felicia!
Giving me the perfect chance to pounce on the Cherry. My ultimate gets us the kill, and Ice Pops helps tip the scales into our favor, though those pesky respawns once again come into play. Cherry is able to return to the fight quickly, and I'm forced into the bushes to get my health back. I come around for a long flank and pick up this card, and manage to get off a 2-person stun.
Oh yeah!
Though it might feel good in the moment, this is a big mistake. Both my teammates are dead, and Black Pudding is rushing over. I should not be here right now. So Blue Slushy shows me the door. By the time we get back to the fight, Ice Pop has already spent his ult to put Slushy on the rope, giving me the chance to dive in and get some damage done. Though the numbers are against us, Fruit Punch's tanky health allows me to fight and last long enough for our team to come out on top. This time I wisely pull back to heal.
Give us just 1 minute. We'll be right with you.
And rejoin the fray to put a beating on an isolated Slushy. My ultimate's back, and I'm able to contest the point long enough for Ice Pop to return from a much more favorable spawn point. Black Pudding makes sure that I don't end up leaving with my life, but it ends up being a pretty even 2-on-2. Now this moment is key. Ice Pop's decision to keep moving the turtle here pushes back the enemy spawn, and finally gives us the advantage. Any kills we score on the enemy from here on out means they're taking a long hike back to rejoin with their team. Even a death like this isn't as painful, because Cherry Cookie is a much longer walk back to the objective. By the time I'm back, it's overtime and my ultimate is up, and the game quickly devolves into a battle of reinforcements. Watch how not even Black Pudding's pentakill is able to put a dent in our pressure. The difference in spawns this late in the game is simply too much for them to overcome. Each 1-for-1 trade simply puts them further and further behind, as long as they can't get that turtle back across the middle. Eventually, our team's ultimates win out, and the enemy team constantly finds themselves fighting unfair fights.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
My ultimate here comfortably keeps the turtle contested as Ice Pop is allowed to just soldier right back into the fray. I hope this game can serve as a powerful example of how positioning and objective control can trump kills and build up advantages that will ultimately win you the game. This has been Scoops, and as far as Castle Crashers goes, you've gotten your scoop. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and see you all next time.